Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting this morning. On this, I don't know if it's overcast, foggy, smoky, or whatever it is day you got going out there. But I want to welcome everybody who came into the board this morning. We'll have a brief public comment if anybody wants to address the board on the agenda items before the meetings, at the beginning of the meeting. We'll have another brief public comment at the end of the meeting. This morning, we don't have a lot of stuff on it this morning, so we should get through fairly quickly, I would think. I'll call the meeting to order this morning. We'll have prayer by Commissioner Cook. And I'll do the pledge of allegiance, and then roll call by Madam Clerk.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the time we can come make decisions, Lord. Just pray that our decisions might be in the best interest of our constituents. God, be with our first responders, our law enforcement, our military, our EMT drivers, etc., Lord. Just be with them, guide and protect them as they do their duties. Thank you for this time that we can come and make these decisions, Lord. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Barrios. Here. Commissioner Barba.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Lutz.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. First thing this morning, the adoption of the agenda. Anything to add, change? Anything we got there?
Chairman,
Yes.
there's one item I would like us to have us discuss at some point in time, whether it's today or going forward, regarding transparency in positions. And I'm going to share with you that the Road Commission has on their website each of the positions, not by person's name, but by title, and they have the wage. And I was inquired, somebody called me and asked me for information on wages, and we don't have that readily available. And I don't know that specifically. So it would be nice for our constituents to be able to know what particular jobs pay. If we could add that to the agenda for discussion, possibly as we're adopting or changing the new website or our website, we could add that to it.
Let's put that at the future date. Maybe Mike will put it on the next time agenda because we are under a little time frame today because there is something going on right after this meeting that we have to do. Is that okay with you, Commissioner?
Yeah, sure. As long as we-
Next
We'll put
committee meeting?
it,
Next committee meeting?
yeah, we'll put it on the next minute of the whole meeting for
Okay.
discussion.
Yep.
Is that sufficient?
Yep, that's fine with me.
Chairman, I make a motion to move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll support that.
So move by Commissioner Lutz and support by Commissioner Cook to adopt the agenda as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion adopted. Action on previous meeting minutes.
Chair, I make a motion to move to adopt the meeting minutes from the June 25th, 2026 regular meeting and the meeting minutes from the June 29th, 2026 special board meeting.
Support that.
It's been moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lutz, to move to adopt the meeting minutes from the June 25th, 2026 regular meeting and the meeting minutes from June 29th, 2026 special board meeting. Is there any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Brief public comment period. Anybody wants to address the board on agenda items only? I will do it as now. Brief public comment period. Agenda items, please. Madam Clerk, let the record show that brief public comment period was offered and we had no participants. We got nothing on the consent agenda this morning, so let's move right into new business. And number one on the new business is County Veteran Service Budget Renewal Discussion, John Box. Good
Morning.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good, good. You'll have to bear with me because my allergies are working overtime right now. I've been wanting to get down here for a little bit. We've had some stuff. I've been waiting on a report, the FY 25 GDX from the VA. They still haven't published it, so some of the information I'm giving you is coming from before. When it is published, I'll come back and give you an update. But, the reason I'm here today is our millage is up for renewal. With this millage, this office has been able to do a lot of great things. It's come a long way from what it was. And we want a renewal, but we also need an increase. We're looking to raise our millage from 0.17 to 0.20. The millage was passed in 2016. We've never asked for a renewal, but with the cost of everything is just, it's outrageous trying to keep up, and we can't. We had our assistant down to part-time, trying to save money. We've been using the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. That saved us a lot of money. Anywhere we can cut a corner, we've been cutting corners, but without this increase, we will not be able to keep the staff that we have now. And that's part of the reason that I'm here today. Because we need this renewal, and we would like to ask for an increase on our millage.
So, gentlemen, so it would look like on the ballot, we would ask for the original renewal, then there'd be another request to increase it.
So I inquired a lot about that because this is all new to me. I'm learning. So I inquired a lot about that. And I know, things are tough. I get it. I understand. I see it. We wanted to give them a choice with the renewal and the increase because I don't know, things are rough, and I would hate to not have the millage.
Right.
I
and
would hate
that's
to not have that millage, to have that office.
So if you just put one language on there as 2.0, then basically it's a new deal. It would have to go like instead of a renewal,
Correct.
you'd have to go.
Yep.
Commissioner Baum, could I
Yeah, sure.
address that a little bit? So we did work with Clark Hill. You did give us permission to work with them on this. In your packet, you have two proposed options. Option one would be to do a renewal, and it's actually working with Angie Daniels. It's under this year, there's going to be a Headley rollback on on the veterans millage. So it's not going to be 0.17, it's going to be 0.169 something. But, so what the first option is that there would be two separate ballot initiatives. One would be the renewal, and one would be an increase of 0.03 mils. So under that, the renewal would bring in approximately $406,000. The increase, if that was passed, that would bring in an additional $72,575. That's one option. The other option is what you basically just said. There could be just one ballot initiative. Clark Hill proposed, I believe it was the renewal plus 2 mils, 0.02 mils. And that total would bring in $479,000. In speaking with John and Angie, we really believe that option one is the best option. That gives the voters the choice to renew it and then also the choice to increase it. So they could renew and choose not to
to increase versus we just have one ballot, and if they say no, then the whole thing fails.
Right.
So Clark Hill provided the resolutions that you have in here. Clerk Fetting put them in our format, and that's what you have in your packets today for discussion.
And I'm open to this. I mean,
Yeah,
I value your gentleman's opinion.
yeah. Having two could confuse. People might not understand exactly what is going on, but we don't want to see it fail, and that's the big thing. So it does give people choice to leave it as it is, or it's just, I don't know, board. What do you think?
Typically, when people see renewal, they understand that it's not going to change. But
Right,
when they see new, they are a little bit hesitant to vote for that. So, yeah, I think it might be better to have it separated so that the renewal is on one choice and the addition is on the second. My opinion.
On the other hand, Chairman, this is a perplexing situation as we're all looking at it, in the sense that the attitude of most voters is no new taxes. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. And I sense that there might be a proclivity to approve the renewal, but moving down to the next one, and then we have another millage coming out. That concerns me. What concerns me more, if the renewal is made, the increase is not, what happens to the veterans? And how is that going to be
So
restructured?
if the renewal passes and the increase does not, you gentlemen know we've been getting a grant from the state of Michigan. Years past, we used that grant for outreach, advertising, equipment, whatever. This past year, they allowed us to use it to pay a wage. The new VSO, we've been paying her wage with that grant. And we've applied for the 27 grant. They said the funds are there. I haven't heard back. We did a letter of intent. So that was my plan, to continue to pay her wage with that grant as long as we could. If it came down to it, we would probably have to go to a two-person office. We would lose our assistant, she does a lot. I don't even like calling her an assistant because she does so much for us. The rides, the scheduling, the phones, a lot of admin paperwork. So it would basically go to a two-person office.
And then again, Chairman, if you use just the option of adding the renewal into the proposal, there is some risk to that. I think there's what needs to be done as well, and I'm sure this will come out, is that we need to inform the public what's happening, what this means. And I don't
Yep.
think anybody really understands or knows at this present time,
So-
right?
I have talked to a lot of my veterans and a lot of the guys that I see regularly. They belong to the veterans clubs, the American Legions, the VFWs, the DAVs, the vet in Mayville. People know what's coming, and they're spreading the word as well. And we will continue to put the word out there. And honestly, I mean, Tuscola County, they're going to take care of their vets. I believe it'll pass, but you never know.
Well, I'm a proponent of the two, the renewal and the increase versus just one. I'm
Separate.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, separate. I'm just going through your thinking to see what would happen if something did happen. Plan B, the impact of that versus educating the public so they understand. Yeah, no further questions, Chairman.
And I'm inclined to agree with you too, both of them. Mr. Cox, Bruce?
I'd like to see them both on there.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys are good with, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I do have a little bit of information, but this is from FY '24. It's not been updated. You know, so in '24, we brought over almost 27 million just in compensation, just in dollars, back to the county. We have something like 1,000, bear with me. Well over half of our veterans are enrolled in the VA medical. The number is like 1,100 plus, and that's huge.
That'll work.
That's
Thanks.
huge. You know, a lot of guys come into our office. That's my goal, is to get them into that VA medical, because that benefit is so great. Anything we get on top of that, that's icing on the cake.
Mr. Chairman, the clerk went ahead and wrote out a motion for this here, and I'd like to read it.
Before, go ahead, I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
That's all right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's somewhat tangent, but either that or I have to ask it at the very end. Related to the service you provide on July 4th, or Memorial Day. In the past, you supply the flags, the flag holders, the sections give you the names of the veterans. Is this under a separate grant or program, or is this under funding through this village?
So them were purchased through the grant through the state of Michigan, MBAA. This past year, they come back, they reconfigured, I don't know the term they use, but they only give us certain areas where we could spend the money. That was not one of them. One of the options was a wage, so we went with the wage. So we would not be able to afford to buy those flags going forward.
So that would be one of the cuts that would be made, because that's been a pretty prolific showing.
It has, it really has, because we bought the flags, we buy the US veteran markers, the metal ones, the nice ones. And,
Yes, so if the proposal both went through, that would continue?
we would, yes. I believe we'd be able to continue that if this proposal goes through with the increase. And we continue to get the grant forever how long, that would definitely free up money for something like that. And that is huge. I mean, to ride around and see all the flags out on Memorial Day, that's pretty nice.
And I know these flags are just replaced as needed, and that's how you get contacted, but it would be a significant drawback if we didn't have that.
Oh, absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
noticeable.
You know, and I spoke with all the sextons as they came in to get their flags this year. We just had a discussion about that. And yeah, that would be huge. It really would.
And John, that's pretty expensive for those flags and markers too, right?
It is. It is. The flags, we spend almost $12,000 a year just on the flags. The markers, I'm not sure, because them fluctuate. We don't purchase as many markers as we do flags. Markers, they last quite a while.
No further questions.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolutions 2026-11 to place the county veteran service millage renewal and a county veterans service millage increase as two separate proposals on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot with a roll call vote.
Support. So moved by Commissioner, supported by Commissioner Cook. To move to approve resolution 2026-11 to place the county veteran service millage renewal and the county veteran service millage increase as two separate proposals on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot with a roll call vote. That is the motion. Have any more discussion?
Chairman, I would just like to suggest that John reach out to the newspaper and have them do some type of an article, informational article, prior to the election. Let them know this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The groups and the organizations, they're behind us 100%. I mean, you're going to see it everywhere. You are.
Roll call vote.
And just a correction, it'll be resolution number 2026-11. That will be the correct number.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Barrios,
Yes.
Commissioner Barbell,
Yes,
Commissioner Lutz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Resolution carries, and I have that prepared, so I'll get signature afterwards, and then I'll prepare it for the ballot.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I
John.
appreciate you
Thank you,
guys'
John.
time. And
Keep on the good work. We have
Yeah.
one of the best veterans services that I've seen happen in a long time.
we do, we really do. I mean,
We really do. I mean, we're not saying because we're biased for Tuscaloosa County, but the job you people do down there is above the call.
and when
Thanks,
I
John.
get the new report for 25, I will come and give you guys an update, let you know exactly where we're at. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, Tuscola County Parks and Recreation Activity Update. Mr. Mark Putman.
Good morning.
Morning, Mark.
Tuscola County Board of Commissioners. My name is Mark Putnam. Things are getting exciting. Nancy Barrios and I, on behalf of the Cass River Greenway, are working with the city of Carroll to erect a kiosk at Chippewa Landing. My brother Tim Putnam and I presented a concept plan to the Tuscola County Economic Development Corporation, giving assistance for the betterment of the Carroll Dam site. Tim and I will soon publish Chippewa Village at the Oxbow, a knowledgeable and professional history describing the local Chippewa and their early settlement at the same site. Tim and I will likewise soon publish Rooted in the Thumb, an 800-page didactic and encyclopedic history of our local area. We are researching genealogies that document local Native families, their lives, their names, and their significant contributions. These histories will tell remarkable and important stories. Among the primary Native families we write about are the Fisher or White, the Mark Joshua or Mosh Kayashe, and the Indian Dave Easton-Queek or Stocker families. Easton-Queek or Indian Dave is one of Tuscola County's most recognized and distinguished figures. He helped shape this county and contributed to making it the remarkable place it is today. The Tuscola County Parks and Recreation Commission surveyed the community for a new name for the Cass River grounds we call the parcels. During that survey process, Denise Hutchison, a member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Ojibwa, contacted me with a message marked by hospitality, kindness, and generosity. She shared that if a nearby tribe were asked, they might offer a water blessing ceremony to honor the new name and dedication of the parcels. In the survey, the Easton-Queet Indian Dave Memorial Park emerged as the leading choice. Across our area, Easton-Queet, whose name means crossing cloud, has long been held in the highest regard. The water blessing ceremony will mark the moment when Easton-Queet Indian Dave Memorial Park is formally recognized, honoring both the waters that flow into the Cass River from the upper Cass River, Upper Thumb region, and the grounds that will become this park. Chippewa Landing Park, Indian Fields Park, and the proposed future Chippewa Village Park are each a stage in a greater and ongoing drama. In this speech, I speak as an actor within that drama, sharing with this audience the thoughts I hold in my heart. These parks, in their own right, are works of art. We live in the land of the free. It is in that spirit that I offer a name of my own coining, the Carroll Area Recreational Organization Alliance, or simply the CARO Alliance or Carroll Alliance. This name represents the future of recreation along the Cass River and below the city of Carroll, and the benefits it will bring to the communities throughout Tuscola County. A future built on unity, purpose, and prosperity. It was a little different probably than what you got in the packet, 20%. And if I may, Denise Hutchison, I got a short biography of her. She's the Chippewa or the Ojibwe lady that I messaged you with. Denise Hutchison, her full career is in government accounting. She was the first chief accountant of Tuscola County. Then she moved out to the Tuscola County Road Commission and moved one last time to the Saginaw County Road Commission. Her work was a blessing. She collected a pension from all three government positions, a total of 38 years of service. So that's my contact now with the Native people. And they're from this area, Tuscola. She's from Tuscola.
Thank you. Very good, very good. Any questions for Mark or any? Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Move on to number 3, flat cameras discussion, Mr. Thomas Barlow.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I see Ryan will be joining us here shortly. This was brought up, and my memory is not as sharp as it used to be, but I know it was last year when the flat cameras came up to us as a board, and we were getting informed, and we had, that must have been close to the accidents on Deckerville and Hertzman, but I'm not sure, but about that time period I'm thinking. So it's hard to go by a day that you don't see some controversy on flat cameras. And now it's everywhere in the state of Michigan. It's really a decision between public safety and privacy of the residents. And that's where the two sides are. And you can tell, I mean, there's Saginaw just erupted here not long ago. And they have several of them. And there was quite a commentary. And over this period of time, I'm not sure if any of the other commissioners, but I've been approached, what do you know about these? And usually, why did you do this? And that's my explanation was, at the time, it was the best thing we thought we should do because of the intersections and number of deaths we were experiencing, and it was presented and so on. So I brought this up for a board discussion in the sense that I believe we're going forward with it as we approved it. And as I remember, it was on a grant. I did read the information that was attached this morning. But I just want to open up to a general discussion on moving forward. I think no matter what, this is not going to go away. There's a lot of concerns related, again, to privacy versus public safety. And not only that, the scope of what it could bring in the future once you have it established. I don't understand anything about flat cameras other than what's been in print. So with that, I want to open it up for discussion.
I'd be happy to start.
Go ahead.
I know a gentleman who had Alzheimer's, and he left his home, and his wife and family could not find him. And the only way he was tracked was by the camera, which indicated that he had gone up north and taken the expressway. I understand the issues with privacy, but I'm going to tell you, We don't have that many, as I understand. I think we were looking at 6 or 8.
There's going to be 7 of them in
7.
Tuscola County,
Okay.
but by having those, it opens us up to the greater network to be able to search outside of our area even.
But there are so many things today. My phone tracks me. My Facebook tracks me. Everything tracks you. And we really don't have any control over, people can shut my car off if I'm driving. They can go online and shut it off. So there's a lot of things that people need to be worried about privacy and, you know, what are you going to do to me if you know this stuff? But I didn't see these cameras as being that intrusive. I didn't personally. I would rather see people not know my phone or my location by my phone or what I'm looking at on the internet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I don't have a problem with the flock cameras.
And I know here a while back, when I brought it up here at the meeting, which I was kind of acting stupid because I went back and said, why did I know that already? Why did I say something? I should have known that. Well, it was done on October 30th, and I wasn't here on October 30th. That's why it kind of hit me by surprise. You know, I've read a lot of reports from a lot of different laws that have said, you know, stuff in about how they use them, what they use them for, what it can do, what it really can't do, and you know, and the group of, you got to be careful when the government says, of course, it's for your safety, we need to do this. I mean, that's part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? When they say, you know, we're gonna track you because it's you know, it's for your own good that we do this. People get apprehensive about it. But I've seen a lot of, I think the people just need the insurance of what we're using it for. I think that's what they're asking for. Okay, you know, how do we know? You know, we just need to be transparent with them for sure, I think.
Yeah, and just to you know, bring this point up, we've had access to be able to search flocks since we signed that resolution. Even though we don't have our cameras, we've been able to use them. Again, we had a person with dementia that went all the way to Florida and got stopped. We were able to get that suspect vehicle that I talked about that had shot people up. So from January until July 13th is when I looked at this. There's an organizational audit. I can go back and search 30 days at a time to see basically which officers are making queries. And like, you know, it shows me the plate number that they searched, and it shows me the reason because we require the reason. It shows me the complaint number because we require that complaint number. So from January until July 13th of 2026 is when I looked this up. We did 7. We looked for 7 people, and all of those were missing people or stolen vehicles, things of that nature. Now, stolen vehicles, we can enter them into the law enforcement information network and delete. But if I'm driving through town and I'm on my way to lunch and I'm not running people's license plates, I could be right behind your truck that's been stolen and not even know it. But if it happens to go under a flock camera and it recognizes that plate, it can send an alert to people to say, hey, this is a stolen vehicle. Now suddenly it's a priority. We can recover people's property a lot sooner. You know, if there's a plate that's in connection with a missing person, we can find that person a lot sooner. It's a extremely beneficial tool for law enforcement. And like anything else, we have policy dictating how it's to be used. And if my deputies violate that policy, it's like any other policy. There's progressive discipline up to and including termination. You know, I just, in my mind, I look at it like technology is changing, and this is a way that we can use technology for good to get people home safely. I think of the dementia patients more than anything else. You know, someone gets a hold of keys even though family has tried to keep keys from them, and there's no way to. The last one from out of town here that we had recovered down in Florida, he didn't have a cell phone on him. So we couldn't ping that cell phone. You know, if your truck
That's
gets,
a good example right there, sir. Ping the cell phone. I mean, you can follow anywhere where they're
that's
at.
what I mean, the cell phones, like she
You
mentioned,
know.
track your location
Right.
much more accurately than this ever could. If you were listed on a search warrant and we pinged your cell phone location, it's gonna show that you're within this building. These cameras are on the roadway and it's only a plate. It doesn't capture drivers. We don't have any real-time viewing cameras. Ours are just license plate readers. They capture pictures. It only saves for 30 days. If we don't have a reason to look at someone's license plate and to save that photo that has the date and time of going through a certain intersection, that's gone after 30 days. We can't bring that back up. It has to be saved as evidence. And one other thing that I did, if you guys have additional questions that maybe I can't even answer, because again, we're not even up and running totally yet, I did arrange, Augustin and Carrie are on here from Flock. They might be able to answer any questions you guys have as well. And I mean, I provided these PDFs that Flock gave me that I included with you guys about what is collected, what is not collected. You know, it does not collect or connect to the Secretary of State system. So it doesn't give anyone's driver's license numbers or home addresses.
You know, when people come here, like I've had come here and say, well, they'll track you leaving your house, get in the car, go to the grocery store, buying groceries, going to the bank, going back to your house. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, really? You know, there'd be a lot of cameras. But, you know, that's the concept that they, you know, where they're saying it's the truth, you know.
I know, but if someone's not a victim, you know, that we're trying to help get what, you know, recovered to their family, if someone's not a suspect, their vehicle's stolen, there's no one would ever run their plate.
Right.
You know that my numbers are low. That's how it is in law enforcement these days. We don't have people, we don't have time, we don't have money to sit and try to say, you know, I want to see where Commissioner Bardwell's going shopping today and try to search his vehicle. Plus that violates the policy as well. You cannot just search people. You have to have a complaint number attached. So dispatch has to be aware that a number has to be generated for our report writing system to plug into that system before we can run a plate. It has to be for a valid law enforcement purpose.
Chairman, you know, nowadays, every place you go, there's a camera. I don't care where you go. Down the street, you just walk down the street, everybody, you know, they're worried about, you know, all this, that, and something else. You know, times are changing, and if it's one of your loved ones that are missing, that's the greatest tool they ever made, because you might get them back. You know, I trust you guys. That was, you know, if we didn't trust you guys, wouldn't be here, right? So it's a good law enforcement tool. I think it's a great thing, especially if you got a felony warrant for somebody that's just robbed a bank or whatever. You know, you get them coming in and out of the county.
You know, and if we comply with the laws of the state of Michigan, if Michigan as a whole adopts regulations to say you have to have a search warrant to use Flock, well, then we're going to adapt to that. If Michigan suddenly enacts some legislation that says we can't retain anything for more than 15 days, well, then we would have to adapt to that. We'd have to follow that. And as far as like some of the stuff that it talks about in here is your sharing. If for some reason we don't want to share our cameras with Saginaw, we don't have to allow them access. Now, obviously, we would like to be able to access theirs because they have a lot more than we do.
Right.
You know, there's some counties that they have hundreds of these things. So,
Ryan, excuse me, Chairman.
Go ahead.
Ryan, there's been some speculation, and now that I don't know which court it was, they tracked somebody with a GPS for a month or so, and the court ruled that it was, I'll use my words, not appropriate, but it probably violated some civil liberties or whatever. this is brand new technology, and not in the other side of the world where they do track individuals and their activities and decide whether they can engage in finances or not. But closer to home, how do you see this coming down from a legal aspect? There's going to be some challenges, obviously, at some point, and there are. That was the GPS. Do you remember that one? It was this recent decision.
I don't remember specifically.
I know I think it was Supreme Court, but I'm just going by memory now. But at any rate, it reminded me, and this was brought up in one of the conversations that was presented to me, is that do you not think this is bridging on violation of civil liberties and Fourth Amendment, whatever? So this is where it gets to the public safety versus private, you know. And even though we have cell phones, it was argued that that's a choice you make. You don't want to be tracked, don't use a cell phone. Use a flip phone. I don't. Where the cameras is opening up a whole new avenue. And I know they're just LPR readers, but soon they'll be, are they not capable of facial recognition?
You know, again, I'm not even fully into this yet, but
All right.
but what I see says
Very good.
that they don't use facial recognition technology.
I see that here. Just,
And the GPS, that is a tracking device that follows with that vehicle.
right.
So I have a tracker for my dog. Every 15 seconds when I was on a track, it would send a location. These cameras are stationary, so they're not following anybody. They're not tracking anybody. And again, the only time that your plate is going to get entered is if your car was stolen, or you have dementia, you have some illness, like mental health is on the rise. If someone's making a credible, threat to harm themselves, if it's a law enforcement purpose, if you drive past a camera, it'll take a picture of your license plate, and obviously it'll show the vehicle. From the back end, it's going to have your color, your make, your model, stuff like that. But if there's no law enforcement reason to search that, nobody's ever going to know that you drove past that camera, and then within 30 days it's deleted, it's gone. It's no one would ever possibly know. We don't have the ability, and it would be against our policy to try to search private citizens to see their day-to-day movements.
Well, I have another question, Chairman. I'd still like to hear from the rest of the commissioners, because eventually we may go to the presentation that Ryan had just presented. Commissioner Cook, you have any thoughts?
I reached out to my son, who's an officer in Indiana, and he sent me back some statistics, and they have many more flock cameras than we're ever going to have, just because it's a bigger area. It's near Indianapolis, and it's been very beneficial on not only missing persons, but other uses that he didn't feel, and I agree with him, don't infringe on privacy rights, but are very beneficial for law enforcement.
Thank you. I want you to step in anytime and comment, but I was thinking along the lines of, and this is probably beyond our scope of knowledge, but if you travel the freeway going I-80, you're going to get into a area that takes your picture and you pay a toll.
Yeah, and I questioned how much I had to pay the last time I went to South Dakota, because I think I got captured multiple extra times, but.
Yeah, they just changed that from a little box to a sticker on your windshield, but at any rate, that's a reader, as I remember. I don't know what, but I was wondering, it seems like this technology, I've never heard the word flock, but certainly from a toll booth, you know what they look like. I wonder if there was any comparisons. And I know you probably don't have that answer, but it seems like the technology's been there, and they're effective at, as you know, of finding you, whether you have a sticker or not. And
Right, and this doesn't connect to the DMV or our
Okay.
Secretary of State's database. This is just something that we manually have to run. those cameras out there, I would argue, probably more intrusive because they know who you are based on that plate. And then they send the bill directly to your house to pay that.
Yeah, look at Bay City, your toll,
Yeah.
toll bridge up there.
I
They
gotta
know when
put
you
it on
cross
my
that.
car.
Yeah, they know when
This
you
is your
pass that
fee.
bridge.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out because that's certainly reflective of what we're talking about today. And again, I wanted to bring this up because it seemed to be, at least in my area, a concern with questions. And of course, there would be, based on years past and what has been recommended and what is the end result has been. So are there any other questions from the board? Any comments?
So one other thing that I want to bring up on the transparency side of things, like if like Flock has came up with some new features that I just enabled the other day. Again, we don't even have the cameras yet, but I enabled them as soon as I learned about them. If we have a user that's doing something that's like outside of normal user operation, if it seems that someone's running a plate excessively or going back and running the same one over and over and over again, it'll send an alert to administration just to say, hey, this is outside of normal user activity. What are they doing? So again, I mean, we require a complaint number and a reason, but if for some reason the system detects that this is outside of what a normal user would be doing anyway, it's going to give us further alerts.
And that's good, Sheriff, you brought that, because that was one of the things that people up me. Okay, what happens if someone's doing it kind of behind the scenes? And nobody, no, you know what I'm saying?
You know, and there's some articles out there about officers that have lost their jobs for misuse on Flock.
Right.
And I hate to sound rude, but good. I mean, if you're going to knowingly violate policy repeatedly, well, progressive discipline up to and including termination.
The federal offense.
I mean, we're trusted with guns every day. I
Right.
think.
Exactly.
I'm-
You're right.
Chairman, I have another question. I just thought of- Ryan, I know we probably asked this way back in October, or whatever it was. Have you given thought, I didn't realize there were 6 or 7 of them, I thought it was 2 or something, of what intersections or where these would go?
Yeah, that's already been laid out. And again, because we have so few, let's say one's at 24 and 46 and it's facing eastbound. We can't capture anybody going
West.
north, south, or west. It's just, in Tuscola County, it's beyond a needle in a haystack or a Hail Mary to get something to capture. But we know that those dementia patients, sometimes they drive long, long distances and you're going to end up crossing in front of a camera eventually. It may not be in Tuscola County, but eventually you're going to cross one.
So most likely what you're indicating is going to be in areas that have much more traffic than any of the 6 corners or the 6 roads that have been identified as problematic.
Yeah.
Each corner that could be-
Yeah. Because we're not using it for traffic enforcement either. I mean, we're not, again, we can't live view these things. It takes photos. So we would never be able to zoom in and say, hey, this person ran that stop sign, because it just doesn't have that capability.
So would you like to put one on M15 at the county line?
Yeah, areas like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Would the board like to hear?
And again, there are
Stand
2
by.
representatives from Flock. If there's any,
No. I don't, not
If
necessarily,
there's
but
any questions?
I'm
it's
good.
just the people out there with transparency. They just want to make sure transparency. That's all I think is what they want to make sure. But I think they know the other side of it too, that it could be the good side. It's just the transparency part. I'm satisfied with it.
Thanks, Sheriff.
One last question, Chairman.
Yeah.
I keep asking the one last questions, but they keep, what's the timeline? What do you see as the timeline for installation? Where are we at in that?
so it's been pretty drawn out. I was told that MDOT doesn't have enough people to try to approve things, so some of these are getting sent to the federal level for approval. Our specific issue right now is when we did the resolution back in October, we did it on Tuscola County's format. The Michigan Department of Transportation requires it to be on their form. So ours, we just got the delay notice the other day. They will not move forward with it until we submit the Michigan Department of Transportation actual form. Even though all the wording's the same, it's got to be on their form. So once I get that submitted to them, I don't know the timeline. They told me a month ago that it's several weeks just for the approval process. So, and if it does have to get sent to some federal level for approval, I mean, we still might be looking at months.
Okay.
When we first decided to do this, I thought we'd probably be up and running in the spring, but here we are. I'm wondering if we're even going to be going in the fall, to be honest. I don't know. Sorry, I can't answer.
That's fine. That's the answer, because there isn't an answer.
Right.
So, no further,
You got
I'll
one-
attempt there's no
you got-
further
you got one
questions.
more question?
We'll move on before I go.
Yeah, thanks.
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 Okay, move on to number 4, mosquito abatement appointment.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners, I just have a couple of urgent requests for you this morning. Following the retirement of our equipment repair technician, Pat Dennis, I would like to request that Joe Benjamin fill that full-time equipment repair technician vacancy position effective Monday, July 20th at step 1 pay scale of $19.48 per hour. Joe is currently our nighttime foreman on our second shift there. And he's also done a lot of job shadowing in this vacant position as well. And I think he'd be a great fit for that spot. I also would like to request moving Rick Dominic from his current role as a seasonal assistant foreman on our night shift to the vacant seasonal nighttime foreman position, which would be the position Joe would be vacating there. And I'd like to make that effective Monday, July 20th at step 1 of the pay scale of $19.10 an hour. Same scenario with Rick. Rick's done a great job as our assistant foreman, and I think he would fill that role of head foreman as well. He'd do a great job for us. Other than that, that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions?
No question. No, sir.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the request of, Larry Zappi, mosquito abatement director, that Joseph Benjamin be promoted from his current role as seasonal night shift foreman to the vacant full-time equipment repair technician position effective Monday, July 20th, 2026 at step 1 of the pay scale at $19.48 per hour.
Support.
So moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Barrows, to move to approve the request of Larry Zappi, mosquito abatement director, that Joseph Benjamin be promoted from his current role as seasonal night shift foreman to the vacant full-time equipment repair technician position effective Monday, July 20th, 2026 at step 1 of the pay scale, $19.48 per hour. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the request of Larry Zapp, mosquito abatement director, that Richard Dominic be promoted from his current role as seasonal assistant foreman to a vacant seasonal night shift foreman position effective Monday, July 20th, 2026 at step 1 of the pay scale of $19.10 per hour.
I'll support that.
It's been moved by Commissioner Root, supported by Commissioner Cook. To that Richard Dominic be promoted from his current role as seasonal assistant foreman to the vacant seasonal night shift foreman position effective Monday, July 20th, 2026 at step 1 of the pay scale, $19.10 per hour. There's the motion. More discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Most of them approved. Can I ask Commissioner Barber, can you take over because there is a phone call I need to make?
Yeah,
It's really important.
certainly will.
I'll be back.
Thank you, commissioners, for helping me out with this in such short notice. We filling these positions is pretty crucial right now. We're a little over halfway through our season, so it's still all hands on deck. So I appreciate your prompt attention with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
As the chairman had just requested, I'll move forward with the agenda. We are now on number 5. Prosecutor's Office request to hire Kathleen Eds and Mike Miller, interim administrator, building and grounds, will be presenting.
Yes, Commissioners, Prosecutor Wally couldn't be here, so she's asked me to present to you. She's requesting to fill a Secretary 2 position that's vacant in her office. And the person's name is Kathleen Eds, I'm assuming. She would be starting on around July 27th, starting at step 1 at $18.67 an hour. And that would be pending a satisfactory background check and physical and drug screen.
Mr. Vice Chair, I move to approve per the request of Eric Walling, prosecuting attorney, to hire Kathleen Eds to fill the vacant Secretary 2 position to begin on or around July 27, 2026, at the starting pay of step 1 at $18.67 per hour, pending a satisfactory background check and physical and drug screen.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Lewis, supported by Commissioner Barrios, to approve for the request of Erica Wally, prosecuting attorney, to hire Kathleen Eds to fill the vacant Secretary 2 position to begin on around July 27, 2026, at the starting pay of step 1 at $18.67 per hour, pending a satisfactory background check, physical and drug screen. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Sorry about that, I had to step over for a second.
Okay.
Okay, move on down to number 6. Buildings and Grounds request to hire Donald Laurie, Mike Miller.
Yes, Commissioners, we have a vacant position on our custodial staff who cleans the buildings at night. I would like to hire Donald Laurie to fill that position starting on July 20th at step 1 of $17.34 per hour. And Donald has already passed his background check, drug screen, and physical.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the recommendation from Mike Miller, interim administrator, buildings and grounds, and recycling director, to hire Donald Laurie to fill a vacant custodial position to begin on July 20th, 2026, at the starting pay of step 1, $17.34 per hour. Background check, drug screen, and physical have been completed.
Support. Then moved by Commissioner Lewis, supported by Commissioner Cook, to move to approve the recommendation from Mike Miller, interim administrator, building and grounds, and recycling director, to hire Donald Laurie to fill a vacant custodial position beginning July 30th, 2026, at the starting pay of step 1 at $17.34 per hour. Background check, drug screen, and physical have been completed. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. Move on down to number 7, budget process calendar. Mike Miller, interim administrator.
Yes, Commissioners, this is the proposed budget calendar for 2027. As of July 1st, I did notify the department heads that the budgets are open for them in the BSNA program to go ahead and get started about putting in their proposed budgets and requests for 27. This is the calendar I've developed. Obviously, it's subject to change and depending on how the process goes. My hope is that we have everything back, the departments have submitted by August 3rd. And then the controller's office will go through and compile those. And then after that, I would like to request that a member of the finance committee, one of the commissioners, sits down with each department and myself, and we talk to that department head and go through their budget We used to do that when I first started here. I thought it was beneficial. I'd like to go back to it. And if a finance commissioner cannot attend, then, you know, if another commissioner could fill in, I just think it's beneficial that one of the board members sits down and has a face-to-face discussion. Try to get an understanding of what the requests may be or how they may be changed, altered, whatever. But this is what I've put together. So the budget process has already started. I've opened it up for them. So this, I'd like to get this calendar approved so that we can continue to move forward.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
As part of putting all of these budgets together in the different departments, I find it would be helpful for me as a commissioner to know what the departments are planning. Like, for instance, the sheriff's department, if he has a plan that in his budget for next year that he wants to add a person, or he wants to put in a new product, or he wants to do some innovation. You know, in business, you typically have a business plan that you put together, and then you measure to your business plan. When people meet independently and I don't have a clue what's going on, I have no idea what he plans or what anybody else plans. And it would be nice if we could get to a point where we could have like a business plan that says, this is my target, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm expecting it to cost, that you can follow. Because, you know, other than the figures on the, there's nothing for me as a commissioner to follow or to look at, to plan. Am I making clear what I'm looking for? A business plan type
Make it clear.
outline?
But being in business my whole life like I have, county sometimes doesn't work quite like you would like. to
Well,
work
you know,
like
but
that.
it should, because, you know, it's difficult.
And I think through the process, even with the finance, whereas through the process, that's what they talk about. They talk about what plans you got, why is this figure what you need, or wherever you was last year. You know, a lot of the questions I think get answered during that process, and that you'll be you know, made aware of before the roll through. But a lot of that, you know, it gets discussed. But departments, they know what it takes to run their department basically, and that's what they request. But
Yeah, and the department requests would all come back here for your viewing and discussion. If you ever had any questions, we can definitely get those answered. But that is kind of my intent with meeting one-on-one with a commissioner, is to have those discussions of what their plans are, what the requests are going to be for 27. And I told the departments at our last department head meeting, if they thought that the big budget meeting that we had last year was beneficial, we can do that again. I'm not opposed to doing that. So, you know, we could do that. We could, you know, maybe, you know, at some point on the calendar, maybe we put in we have just a meeting on the budget where departments can come in if the board has questions, and it's just strictly on the budget for the board to ask questions.
Chairman?
yeah.
Want to circle back, Mike, with the announcement when this gets approved. Have you sent out any guidance related to spending caps, anything related to staying within a certain amount? This year, 10% reduction, anything been sent?
We have not.
Provided?
No, that was, my intent was just hopefully, and I know we won't have everybody's, but hopefully we get, within the 30 days, we get a good reply back so that we can start putting together what it's going to look like. And then that would be a board's decision on if you see that we might need to make reductions or curb this or increase that. But no, I did not put out any type of guidance at this point.
So related to even the caveat that no greater than this year's spending level per department, to cap that, since apparently our spending level right now is within budget or under budget, maybe, I don't. I'm just looking at, because otherwise, then you have to go back And I know, other than capitals, which is usually, you don't put a limit, you just evaluate, which we've done for years. It gives some sense, because obviously from a general fund perspective, there's not, I don't anticipate, maybe I'm wrong, any other revenue that's going to be readily available in 27 that could absorb very many or any increases. I don't know that yet. So I was thinking, I mean, I'm asking for suggesting some guidance. And as we went through the meetings last year, which were beneficial, I mean, long but tedious. In the past, and you had mentioned this, we had circled, what is there, how many? 7? We had circled the department heads, others, through the commissioners for a higher level presentation of just what you're asking for. The needs, this is where I'm at. So the board could hear it. I think there's a limit when you set through those individually, as an individual, not that that's not a good recommendation. It's very hard to relay that back to the rest of the board in terms of, okay, here are what the presentations were. It all comes back to, once they come in, you're going to look at the end and sort of start smoothing it out, just like we did last year in the meeting across the street. And that was sort of a tedious process. That was that was occurring as we sat there, right, wrong, or indifferent. So I guess those are my thoughts on the budget. But in terms of what could we avoid this year, or the 27, that we might have got incurred in last year, in terms of process and streamlining it, because the budget process, as you know, took us right to the very end, practically.
Yeah, well, we did get started late last year, and that was my intention of starting early this year, is try to get ahead of it and try to get together as much information as we can, so that the board has information to make decisions like labor negotiations, because we're going to go right back into those really soon. And those were delayed. So I'm just trying to get information. Now, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Bardwell, and maybe if we want to not meet with every department per se, but if the department would like to request a meeting with the commissioner and myself, we could do that. Or if we had questions, the board had questions on something, we could do that. I just remember, went back, and I'll say the early days, we used to do that. We used to sit with Mike Hoagland and a commissioner, and we would just discuss the budget. They weren't very long. They were, 15, 20 minutes. But again, if you thought that the big budget meeting was beneficial, we can still do that. I'm not opposed to it.
Well, I'm looking ahead at number 8, and we'll make an assumption that those were I was thinking out loud in terms of framing in what I've experienced over the years, the early days. What worked best? What was more streamlined? How could we pare down the amount of time, especially as we get more knowledgeable of our funding, expense versus revenue, which we last saw was running almost a flat line next to each other. Not that the department heads are going to ask for more, but the more concern, as you remember, Mike, is that even in the capitals, when we don't act, they start piling up, and then you're in trouble because something big will happen, which takes all the cash that you have, like HVAC in the courthouse or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. So I'm not suggesting any particular route, just more of what do you think, based on your experience and others, what worked best, and how could we improve what we've done in the past?
I felt the last several years that I thought the board didn't get a lot of information budget-wise. And I'm not faulting anybody that sat here before me. Just the process was the process. I thought Erica's budget meeting was great, but it was long. And she didn't intend it to be that way. It just ended up being that way. But I have always felt that we should go back to the individual meetings with departments and a commissioner. I thought that was beneficial. We stopped doing that, and I thought the boards haven't had a lot of information. You're given a lot of numbers, but you don't really know or didn't have a lot of opportunity to ask questions of the departments. This way, I think it's, at least one of the commissioners is involved, hears from the department head of what their requests are or why they may need them. And then, when you come back to the full board, you can help explain that and have some knowledge. That's the process I feel. And we don't have to meet with every department. Again, if the department feels that their budget's fine and the board is okay, then, we don't necessarily have to meet with them. But I want to make sure that the departments and the board, everybody has the information that they need to make the decisions.
And what you're saying is so germane, because I think from reviewing past year, it's the rapidity and the timeline and the volume of information all of a sudden that's been placed in front of the board, which blurs unless you have a particular interest in the department decisions. And as you know, over the years, they've circled around waste from recycling. You just name a department, one of the board members would circle their wagons on it. But I like that approach. It's just, if we could manage the amount of exposure the board would get all at once, if that's even possible. Because I know you're usually tracking those departments who are getting near the deadline, but not quite there yet. I mean, that's been something for years. Some are right first all the time, and some are near the last. So anyway, Chairman, I'll defer any further questions on the budget. Back to the board.
Hey, that's over here.
My opinion, I'm going back to, if you have one commissioner sitting in and listening to all of that stuff, that's great. But then if Mr. Bardwell is sitting in or Mr. Cook, I'm not getting that whole feel for what the whole process, what their vision for the year is. And that's why.
But that's just the beginning, Commissioner. It comes back to the full board with all of that.
Does it have all of that stuff on
Yeah,
there?
it'll come back to the full board with all that. That's just the very beginning process. You get a feel where the department heads are at.
Okay,
whatever.
well, as long as we get something back that.
It's gonna come back to the full board for review. And you'll get a lot of that information that you're looking to get.
Now, when you're saying it's going to come back to the full board, we get figures, but we don't get explanations next to those figures.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Do
they will be there. They'll adjust the board. If somebody comes in with the same budget they had this year, they ain't got nothing on there extravagant or whatever. Yeah, we might not ask, but if they come in there and say, hey, we need 300,000 to do this at 225, you have to explain to this board why you need that. You know what I'm saying? Why, it takes so
Why
much
the
to run the
new
department.
charge? Okay, I was just looking for some better information.
So Commissioner, it wasn't like last year, if Mike wanted to do a parking lot, it's gonna cost X amount of dollars. Wasn't that, wrote down this parking lot's gonna cost this much money in the budget? Or an HVAC need to be replaced. It was
Did it
in
have
there.
the specifics?
Yeah,
on it?
what it was.
Those are all under capitals. They
Yeah.
always have an estimated amount, and of course, it might get close to it. He checks on it, and it's either an increase, it never decrease. And you try to prioritize across the spectrum of all the requests. Usually, IT has a significant need. I shouldn't have thrown that in there, but seemed appropriate. But yes,
And Commissioner Barrios, if you ever feel that you don't have the information you need, just let me know and we'll get you whatever information you need.
Yeah. And that just streamlines a little bit. If we had to bring it to the full board every time we had to have these discussions, we'd never be ready at budget time, But like Mike said, anytime you need, we'll just sit down with some guys, they'll tell you exactly what in that budget, why they want this budget, and they'll give you everything you need. Any more questions on the budget process? I'm glad that we're starting this early. This is refreshing, I think. You know, because last year we did get late, we got around the balls, and then you got negotiations, you know, but yeah, it's nice to get you going early.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proposed 2027 draft budget calendar as presented.
Support.
So moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lucas. To move to approve the proposed 2027 draft budget calendar as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Controller Administrator position. I thought it was time to bring this out. Mike's been sitting there, you know, probably 4 months or so. And I've watched everything that I've been down, of course, a lot. And he's really stabilized that office down there. I think we have the guy that needs to be in that seat going forward. And I think we need to time to take the interim tag off that position and move forward with Mr. Miller being the control administrator. With my opinion, I'll open it up for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's a good idea because he's been in there 4 months and it's run really smooth. Mike's been on here over 20 years. He knows how this county runs. Yeah, I'm for that situation.
Commissioner? As chairperson of the Personnel Committee, I also requested that we hear something on the position. We approved applying, requesting applicants for the position of Controller Administrator. And that was a long, as you said, long time ago. When Erica Dibble left, I thought she was going to be here until June. That was what was announced, at least I remember hearing at one meeting or another. But come to find out, she left much earlier than that, and left us in a lurch. So we did post the position, we did get applicants. And my question is, what happened to the other applicants? Did they all withdraw from consideration? Or because we put Mike, God bless you, Mike, we put Mike in that position to hold the fort down. We could have put Jody in that position. We could have put Ashley Bennett in that position to hold the fort down. We put Mike in that position. We didn't interview anybody. I mean, I didn't interview anybody. I just opened my packet and I see that we have a motion to make Mike the Controller Administrator. We had a big debate at that time about, are we separating the controller and the administrator? And we didn't. Are we making the right decision? Do we need to do something different? I tell you, when I read this, I was pissed. I was pissed. I thought, I've been waiting to hear and asking, and Mike is doing a good job. I'm not faulting Mike. I'm faulting the process that I don't believe we followed right. That's just my opinion. I'm just one person here, but my opinion.
A couple of the other applicants did back out. They did, they got in and they got right back out. We've been down this road, man. I know you wasn't here for, where we made wrong decisions or whatever. All I know right now, the way things are operated, the way things are going, the respect that he has, the things that is doing, everything is, we know what we have going forward. And it'd be the best thing to have this county in a long time. To stabilize that all takes another to stabilize before. Again, that's my opinion. That's why I'm pushing to go to the stretch because we know exactly right now what we have. We're not taking a chance on anybody else. We're not taking a chance on anybody new. We know what we have moving forward. And the last 4 months has been a huge, huge turnaround in that office.
That's all I hear every time I come in. What a great job, what a great job, what a great job. And Mike hasn't really been tested. I mean, he's been doing what he has to do to stay on top of the boat, but he hasn't been tested. And I'm not saying that if we did an interview that Mike would, more than likely, he would be the choice candidate, but it doesn't sit well with me. That's all I'm just saying.
Mr. Chair, I second your opinion. I think Mike's doing a great job. He's been here for 20, how many years?
24.
24 years. And then again, I'm not disagreeing, but I don't see a purpose because of what he's been doing the last 4 months of interviewing anybody else. And again, that's just my opinion. But I think he's doing a great job.
Chairman, if I may?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. There's one question or two.
Just want to make double sure. I think since 30 years ago, up to 30 years, we had two individuals that pretty much led this county consistently, and boards became complacent with that financial leadership, including myself. And even though the grumbling over the years related to the administrator and others at that time, nothing was significant financially, and we continued to get awards, so everything was fine. I think that the mere fact that we've had a revolving door in that hallway for some time is significant of what we didn't realize, and the chair and I had conversations on this in terms of appointing a chief accountant earlier, getting transition. We just never did that, and that was a mistake of the board. That's my opinion, a mistake for a transition. In light of all that, I'm the one who voted against Mr. Miller. Well, no, as long as I've been, he's been here a long time, longer than I have, but I've known him a long time. Only in the sense that from the previous controller administrator, or Clayette at the time, chief accountant, had projected some significant losses, and I was very concerned about moving forward. We didn't really have a lot of information. We were just going month to month. In the meantime, we're trying to figure out how to staff. All right, that's a little bit of the past. Although I was reluctant in the beginning because I did not want to see an individual get set up in a position that I felt should be more financially. I have since felt much more comfortable with what I've heard from various individuals in the county and majority of the departments that Mr. Miller is performing and has an ability that I'll point it out, for 30 years, ability to connect with people. But then again, Mr. Miller knows everybody, so that is an advantage, and he's not afraid to go out and talk versus text or make an email in capital letters. So I think that's a very significant move towards the county, because the boards in the past, and Chairman, you probably remember some of when we had some administrative reviews, that was one of the areas of getting closer to the departments and understanding. I think Mr. Miller's done that. I mean, he has that ability. Since that time, as Commissioner Barrios has said, I've heard nothing but accolades for financial. Sounds good to me. And I think that might have settled down at this point. I mean, time will tell. The real, from the board's perspective, if you want to know the measure, the metric of performance, It's the fiduciary responsibility we have. And what is that metric? Custer and Manor Custodian? It's the accounting firm, it's the auditing firm that comes to the board, which we haven't had yet for 25, but comes to the board and tells us how we did. And you look at the audit notes and make changes, and you know how that goes. So there's the real end of mine, because all of that in between is handled down a hallway, which we have very little interaction with, except for perhaps the chair, on the day-to-day basis, and that's probably a blessing to all of us. So, you know, looking forward, I want to step that aside for a moment. Commissioner Barrios brings up a good question, is that the process wasn't followed that we would normally follow for hiring anybody in this county. We'd have candidates, would interview candidates and make the selection. What this may open up is a precedent going forward. Well, you didn't do it for the controller administrator, but now you're doing it. So be prepared for that. But the process was not followed. I mean, that's your whole argument. You know, follow the process, it'll come out. And as you said, just as good opportunity there as well. Yes, it does take time, and yes, we could have, would have, should have, but didn't. So there we are. Here we are today. So stop looking back, looking forward. So going forward, I certainly recommend on behalf of the board to follow policy or process, because sometimes that may be a detriment to us. So Chairman, in terms of backing up to go forward, there is no backing up. We have to go forward. We spent too much. You look back, the idea is to correct what was behind you and not repeat it going forward. The board needs to be very conscious about transitioning and functions being known by more than one person, cross-training. You're looking down, Bill. I don't know if you just fell asleep or.
No, I'm listening.
All right. So I'm
waiting for the second question.
Well, if you're like me, you'll have a lot more than one. So going ahead, Chairman, I think this is, I support Mr. Miller. I am very pleasantly surprised. I'm hoping that decision accolades through other areas in the county, and that once again we can become more fluid in understanding where we are financially, because our revenue sources are drying up. Maybe, I don't know. So, Chairman, what I'm saying is that long-winded. We're here. He's been in the position but 4 months. There's been no significant issues. Testing comes with time. I'm not sure what the tests will be, but from Mike's perspective, Mr. Miller's perspective, he has to have a strong financial team, because that either makes us successful or not, because we have to know we can't be in the back of the bus. We got to be in the front driving it and understanding it. And that's where Mike's perhaps accolade is, and I'm seeing it, for all the years you sat in that corner and didn't say much, is that explaining to the board what is going on. So that is the test of time, is explaining financially with the staff where we're going and what do we need to do, because the board only has snippets of information, but they're held accountable for everything related to finances. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. And I appreciate everybody's insight. I know where we've been, and that was Mike in the 4 months. I think we got a pretty good snapshot. Like you said, test the time will tell of where we're going. And we need to go forward. And that's where I can recommend Mike Miller.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to move that Mike Miller be offered the permanent control administration position. Furthermore, authorize Shelley Lutz, Human Resources Director, to negotiate the control administrator employment agreement with Michael Miller with the input from the Personnel Committee, with the negotiated contract to be brought back to the board on July 27th, 2026 for review.
I'll support them.
The move by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook, to move that Michael Miller be offered the permanent control administrator position. Furthermore, authorize Shelley Lutz, Human Resources Director, to negotiate the control administrator employment agreement with Mike Miller with input from the Personnel Committee. The negotiated contract to be brought back to the board on July 27th, 2026
No good old boys club down there at all.
for review.
Okay.
Chairman requested, they asked for discussion, but I want to add, request for a roll call vote.
Request for a roll call vote.
Did you ask whether there's any further discussion?
Yeah.
I interrupted you. So.
You know, I was going to do that. I knew you were trying to talk to shoot something up. Anyway.
Somebody else interrupted too.
Somebody else do it. Do we have any more discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Bardwell,
Yes,
Commissioner Lutz,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Barrios,
Reluctantly, no.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
That takes us through the new business. Old business is a meeting with the Birch Valley Solar Update, Mike Muller.
Yes, Commissioner Barrios had asked for an update. So we did meet, Commissioner Vaughn and I did meet with Drew. I can't remember his last name now, but Drew, he's like the head of the Ranger Power that's doing this project over in Arvila Township. And it was really just a meet and greet, and what was it, maybe 30 minutes at most, it was the meeting, wasn't very
Yeah.
long. He laid out the project, what they were doing, showed us some maps, basically told us that they applied, Arvila denied their request, they're appealing to the MPSC, where they're at in that process, and basically that was it. Obviously, we told them that they knew already that we're siding with Arvila Township. They did follow the law as it sits right now. They did give us $75,000. It's required for us to be an affected party, which the county automatically is. So we do have that sitting in an account for any attorney fees that we use for this process. Any of those fees that we don't use, we have to return. But that was it. It was a nice meeting. He explained everything very well. And he said if we had any further discussion or questions, we could ask. On top of that, yesterday they did have a 3-hour, they called it like an open house online. And I did listen to about an hour of that because I had other meetings to attend to, but basically it was the same thing. They just laid out the plan, they showed the diagrams, where the battery storages would be and fencing and what trees they were gonna cut down and what trees they would replace because they have to bring the land back to kind of where it was at before they started. I think there was like 30, 40 people online.
And of course, I talked about, we're siding with Arvila because, we believe in local rights, they or the local ordinance and stuff. And the guy brought up, he says, which I agree with you, but what about the homeowners' rights? They want this. They sign, you know what I'm saying? Where's their rights? So he had kind of an argument there. I said, well, I can see both sides though, because I believe in owners' rights too, they want it. And, but yeah, it was just meet and greet, nothing more than that.
Chairman, I do know that Arvila hasn't got their money yet for legal fees, the way I understood it from the supervisor. They have not received anything. And yeah, the people that have that land that wants to sell it to them, they want it, but the people around there don't want it. And that's going to affect the Millington area too, because you got a fire department, Millington, Arbela. That's going to affect them. There's more than just Arbela Township involved in this. I mean, there's a lot more scope to this, and they haven't got a dime. So they've been fighting this legal system on their money. So they're not telling you the whole thing there.
And yesterday it came out in the meeting, there was a lady from the company that was talking about the case they're appealing. And I guess they have the dates already laid out, and the case really won't be finalized if everything goes as they plan it to till April of next year. If they get approved, they was discussed that they would start construction in 28 and hope to be online by 2030. That's what they had discussed.
Well, I guess I missed something, because when this first got started, wasn't this just with the townships, the counties didn't have anything to do with it? Am I correct in saying that?
There was I think it was the Michigan Supreme Court ruled on some case where the county now is automatically affected, an
Okay.
affected party.
And they should be.
And that changed everything, so that automatically.
Yeah,
put
they
us
should be.
involved.
We should get it back to the locals, but we should be involved.
Well, Chairman, that's an interesting comment that probably is without merit at the moment. Only because that unless there's someone who has better understanding, which is probably anyone than me at the moment on the role of the UPC, that is the final authority. All this process work in between is just a methodology that eventually it will get to the UPC, and what they decide is decision. That's the decision. There is legislation in Michigan going through, but it's because of the differences in the House, it's not going to be approved to bring it back to local control. I think we all know that. No one really talks about it. So unless the House has changed control, we have, we'll get the same. And I suspect if the same House has it after August, you see an acceleration at the moment. It's an interesting concept in terms of the landowner's rights versus those that are adjacent to the landowners. Obviously, agriculture is the most are aging out. There's a lot of dynamics there, as we all know. But yet, years ago, business law and tort law, if you're building shadow someone else's property, you have a tort. I mean, there's lots of issues. I don't know where that ever went, but that used to be a standing issue. If you interfere with somebody else's use of their property. Today, that's not even considered, and that's a very sad case because obviously that has been usurped. And a good case example, if you've been on Pinbog Road over in Huron County, you'll see the data center just went online, and more to come on that. But I believe no matter what is done, the 75,000, I didn't know you had to return if you didn't use it.
Yeah, I argued that point with that.
And 75,000 ain't gonna go very far.
No, but at least you take what you can get. But
Right.
I mean, they figured that out. We can go into litigation, but that's going to be more than 75,000. We all know that. But on the other hand, what's the end? No one's won over the UPC yet, right?
Yeah, I don't
Right.
know. I don't know.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I- yeah, I don't know.
Not yet. So that's the reality is disturbing.
The only thing that's gonna change is, like you said, if it changes hands down there, and has some legislation change.
That'll change.
Then it will change this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, more to come on that,
more to
right?
come on that. Thanks for that one, too. Correspondence and resolutions, anything there anybody wants to talk about?
The only thing I'd like to point out is number 3, the MAC conference. I got an email. I don't know if the commissioners did, so I did include it. It's coming up, so.
And if I may, Chairman, the MAC conference is coming up, and they're still looking for candidates for the MAC board. At one time, we were very significant as Tuscola County because we had 3 past presidents on that board. And some held offices at NACO and others. And so if you're interested in Region 4, I would suggest looking into it because that is something that is somewhat lost. The other comment, Chairman, I just want to say, if you've read the Washington law, I'm just interested. They had 500,000 undesignated fund that they gave to Planned Parenthood. You read that, right? That's pretty significant. I was just wondering what the circumstances were and if it would be something that Tuscola County is going to receive something of similar nature, but hopefully not that amount in terms of funding.
You don't need to be from Planned Parenthood.
No. Yeah, well,
You know what I'm saying?
500,000. That's
Yeah, that's Washington County. They would
no
believe
further
that.
comments.
Okay. Let's move on to Commissioner Liaison Report. Commissioner Cook,
Nothing to add, sir.
Mr. Barrio.
County Road Commission, at their last meeting, they announced that they're going to be doing some renovations to Bay City, Forestville Cemetery Road intersection, that crossroad, where it comes together on all four corners. It slopes down, so they have to build it up. There was a question, would that be done in time for the Thumb Octagon Barn Fall Family Days? And at the time Brent discussed it, he said they would probably have the dirt and the raised ground taken care of, but it probably would not be paved by the time Fall Family Days was in place. There's also construction on M53, so they're going to be diverting traffic there. M53 is closed from Argyle to M81 for a bridge that's out. Great Start Collaborative, I attended that meeting right after our last meeting. We have another meeting coming up next week. Great Human Services. The medical care facility opened up their new walking trail. I think they had an ad, something on Facebook as well. Really nice addition, not only for the residents, but for public as well. Parks and Recreation, we had an update from Mark this morning on Parks and Recreation. We're going to be meeting again next week and talking about future plans. We've got some ideas for Vanderbilt Park, the trail marking tree. That's a replica of recognizing that. Saginaw Bay Coastal Initiative Area of Concern Group is meeting today at 4:30 at Saginaw Valley State University. Local government reports. I attended the Elkland Township meeting. There was discussion about the ambulance service, ambulance base there. I attended Elmwood yesterday, attended Guilford last week, and they talked about having some person in the audience talked about issues with the road. There had been some paving done, and across from the cemetery where the paving was done, there was an 8-inch drop and there was no fill put in. And so an audience member, a participant, brought that up. There was also discussion about getting signs for children at play in town because they're renovating their community, and as the older folks are transitioning out, young families are coming in, and we want to protect those kids that are playing by putting some signage up. So Guilford Township is sending a letter to the Road Commission regarding those changes. Attended the Village of Cass City meeting, 4th of July parade. As far as Parks and Rec, we did get access to the new DNR database program to upload our master plan, which you approved a year ago, but we have not had a chance to upload that. Mike Kleinsmith just got access to it, so we're still working on that, but we might be getting that in by time to put the new plan in place. I attended an open house for Mower Meats in Cass City, ribbon cutting there as well. That's it for me.
Mr. Burnwell.
Well, the behavioral health side is still the PHIP, trying to understand what the state's going to be doing. They're going to take a second attempt, but always more to come on that legally. DDA, Significantly, the market has an uptick since Devon has taken over the market the last few weeks. And one of the questions I did present to the DDA was the fact that under the TIFA, that money's for downtown development, but 80% of the DDA's time is being spent on the market and very little on downtown. So to maintain the downtown. So that's more to come on that, but Devin's doing an excellent job. Perhaps he'll come in and present it at some point. EDC, I did attend. Talked about grant writing. There doesn't seem to be any interest there other than our own grants. Series of questions related to administrative fee, which we were responded by saying that they're only 3%, so really you can't fund the EDC. However, the community block grant that's on the Main Street down there, as I recall, is 18%. So whoever administers that, which is either going to be ends up being the city of Carroll or perhaps the EDC, we get 18%. It's about 1.7 million, 700,000. There's two projects. That's the Ranford-Wassick portion, low-income housing downtown above the some of the stores. More to come on that, and a few other announcements I'm sure we'll hear shortly. Mac 7th, we just discovered that Huron was going to have it, but Huron's been in such a turmoil lately that they absconded. We're not having a Mac 7th district meeting. It's over. Mac Workers Comp Board, we have a virtual meeting coming up. We are still on target for 2.5 million dividend. So as far as I know, the state has or has not approved it, but they typically approve it. So that portion of that will be coming back to us. MAC Finance Committee will not meet until August. Once the platform, which I sent out to everyone, hope you received it. Nothing will start up until the first week in August. Nickel Rural Action Caucus was, the meeting was, I wouldn't want to say canceled. It was their meeting out west, took precedence, so there wasn't a meeting. You had to go to the regional rec meeting. Local unit of government, interesting enough, I saw some activity between, was it Elmer and Ellington related to the road commission? I didn't go to the meeting, but it was one township meeting heading to another township meeting for further discussion. So I really don't know what's going on there, but it's certainly an indication that there's some concern of the activity with the road commission and the question coming up. No further questions. There's no further report.
Thank you.
No further questions taken.
Okay, Board of Health meets tomorrow, which I will not be attending. Because I didn't know that way.
I was going to remind you.
Nothing really reported, but I did go to the time capsule open the other day over at the church, which was kind of interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, I had some old newspapers in there and had an old coin in there I tried to get, but they short constantly out before I get there.
What was amazing how good that stuff was. I mean,
How good it was preserved. They had put a box in there that was pretty well sealed. But no, that was pretty interesting. But other than that, that's all I have. Mr. Lutz.
Community Corrections meets next week here in this room on the 22nd. HDC won't meet again until August. We didn't have a July meeting. And I just want the board to be aware, on Barnes Road, they replaced 3 bridges, the road commission did. I had a person come to me and said, I've lived here just about all my life, and he said, they replaced this bridge and they put all these guardrails up, and there's 30 foot of guardrail right in my front yard. So we got a hold of the road commission, and Jason did meet with us out there, and he says his hands are pretty well tied, but they don't even want to even talk about, he can't even get down to his woods, because it's unbelievable. Try to get somebody to call me back, and that ain't happening. So have some people out there on that Barnes Road that are not very happy about what that's going on out there. So, but it's done. I mean, the guardrails are up and, I mean, they did it down the road, but they can't do it for this guy. So I don't know what the problem is there. But that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Will. Any other business unnecessary to come from the board? Extended public comment. Anybody want to address the board?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Just to give you a little preface, we are getting close to our early voting beginning. So that will start in all of our jurisdictions beginning on July 25th, and that will continue through August 2nd. And Election Day is actually going to be on Tuesday, August 4th. We still are working with our early vote regional centers. So in a local jurisdiction, during early voting, they will go to the host site. Those are posted on our website for any voter that is looking to know where their early vote center is. The early vote centers will be open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. during those times. That's allowing somebody to go in and vote in person. During that time, we're currently underway of receiving all of our absentee ballots back. So people have been voting over the last 2 weeks, and that will continue. Voters have the opportunity to still mail their ballot in. That is a postage paid envelope that the voter has. They can also take that right to their township or city hall that they vote at normally and put that in the jurisdiction's drop box, and then they know that it for sure gets there in time. Any of those ballots do need to be turned into the clerk by 8:00 p.m. on Tuesday evening of August 4th. And then in-person election day voting will be up and running Tuesday, August 4th from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. with all of our polling locations open. Voters will want to go through and look at their sample ballot. Those are posted on the county clerk's page on our website, as well as on our election information page. Throughout Tuscola County, we had 26 proposals throughout our county. So some of our ballots are very, very busy, and there's a lot of proposals. We also have some local contests for our townships that are for partial terms, as well as even one of our county commissioners is on for a partial term. So there's a lot of things going on those ballots. And just to remind voters, some contests that you might be seeing signs for, we have candidates that are currently campaigning, but those contests will not show up until November. So I don't want folks to be out there thinking that they might see a particular contest on a ballot. They will not show up until November. Can be because of the style of contest it is, can be because of how they're nominated rather than being nominated by the people. They're nominated at party conventions. It could be because there wasn't enough candidates to trigger a primary. So just want to recommend to people that they seek out what's on their ballot before they get to the polls. But most importantly, in my office, we don't really, how you vote is not what's important to us. It's that you actually get out there and vote. This primary contest is where a lot of contest decisions will be made. These state and local levels are going to have maybe more than one candidate. And what happens at a primary is for that party, it's narrowing the field. So you're choosing the candidate that's going to move forward to November. So usually in August, we only run about a 40% turnout. But there's really important contests that the decision in essence is almost made in August, not in November. So really encouraging people to get out there and exercise the right to vote. So thank you. Any
Thanks,
questions regarding that? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judy. Anybody else wants to address the board this morning?
I apologize, I missed what happened earlier, but I do have deep concerns on the flat camera system.
Can we get your name and township, please?
Kind of a private,
Okay,
and township, Fremont.
thank you. That'll help. Thank you.
still being tracked. As I'm talking about flat cameras.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, I'm concerned because as you see in Lapeer, we have a huge outpouring on how many people could attend because they have evening, not when the working public is here. And there's nobody here to help with influence to the people that are supposed to represent us in our areas. And, all right, so anyways, falling apart, just wondering if we could have any way to redress this, whether it's a hearing or petitions or something. Is there any, or are we just sort of locked into this infrastructure that I don't feel is really in our best interest in our county? Or, you know. So that's where I'm at. Comment, I guess. No answers.
No, not no answer. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm waiting for any of the board members to speak. You know, I mean, it is a big controversial area right now in the county. We could have a meeting at the bill. I'm just going to, let's see what kind of input we get from the people. You know what I'm saying? It is controversy. I think transparency is the biggest thing. I've talked to people and they want transparency, but we have reached out to different law enforcement agencies, different jurisdictions to get the information robust, you know, for what they do, what can they do. And I think everybody just needs to understand exactly what these flat cameras are used for, not used for, you know, to get educated, like the sheriff said, educated this morning on it, and transparency. But it's something the board can.
Yeah, he was supposed to bring somebody in from flat.
Well, they were here. They're on the call and he asked us if we had any more questions, but I thought we covered basically what we needed to cover.
It didn't seem like an informed decision was made. It was just sort of made.
Hey, appreciate your input on what we'll discuss.
Chairman, I just want to mention, this subject was addressed this morning on the agenda pretty extensively, which would probably have helped with some of your questions. And unfortunately, Chairman, we don't have a showing of, as Lapeer and others, Saginaw, wherever, of folks with concern, which is a concern because there's apparently no concern. And maybe it's just because they're not knowledgeable of it yet, but that's hard to understand how they could not be. But just a couple comments, Chairman. And I'll take it back to you. I can keep going. When you mentioned the hearing, I think that's probably something you might, the board might want to consider.
You know, if you want to.
Or a meeting.
Yeah, or meeting, I don't know. The information that we've gathered and looked at it, and nobody's more concerned about I am as far as Privacy Act. I'm seeing both sides of this, but the main thing is the transparency and how they're being used. At this point, with the information that I have, you know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, other commissioners, anything they want to add to it?
We had a pretty good discussion earlier.
We had a good discussion on all the concerns and stuff.
The application, how it would be used, when it wouldn't be used, what would happen if it was improperly used. All of those things were addressed, the number of cameras, all of that stuff was addressed earlier. So hopefully it'll be on the, when this gets uploaded, it'll be online, so it can be seen by whoever.
Everybody else want to adjust the board this morning? Let the record show again that public comment was offered. You had two participants
Chairman,
in that.
can I forgot something when it was my turn. Can I, just want to, just
no-
want to make a shout out.
There's no do-over.
I want to give a shout out to Representative Phil Green. He got $750,000 for a new fire truck for Watertown Township for the state. And I think that's fantastic because they really need it over there. And kudos to him to getting that money. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Lewis, supported by Commissioner Barron to adjourn the committee meeting this morning. I want to thank everybody for being there this morning. For that, we stand adjourned. I want to call the statutory finance meeting meeting to order this morning. And we'll have a roll call by Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Commissioners. Commissioner Barrios? Here. Commissioner Bardwell?
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Here.
Commissioner Lutz?
Here.
Commissioner Cook?
Here.
You have a quorum, you may proceed.
Thank you. Action on previous meeting minutes.
Chairman, make a motion on the action on previous meeting minutes of statutory finance, June 25th, 2026.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Lewis, second by Commissioner Cook to approve the statutory finance of 25 June 2026 minutes. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Move on to new business, the review and approval of the finance report and checks.
Chairman, review and approve the financial reports and checks, 7/16/26 of the finance docket.
I'll support that.
So moved by Commissioner Lewis, supported by Commissioner Cook to approve the review of the finance report and checks of the 7/16/26 financial docket. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. The review and approval of the daily report and checks.
Chairman, I make a motion to review and approval of the daily report and checks 7/16/26 daily docket.
Support.
So moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lewis, to review and approval of the daily report and checks of 7/16/26 on the daily docket. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion been approved. There is no per diem report this morning. Nothing on their old business. Anybody have any public comment on statutory finance this morning? Statutory finance comment this morning. Let the record show that public comment was offered for statutory finance, and with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
So moved by Commissioner Lewis, supported by Commissioner Barrios, adjourn the statutory finance meeting this morning. We stand adjourned.